Hi.
I'm just wondering if they'll be able to see me.
See you where?
Sitting.
Oh, you want me to sit there?
Yeah, sit there. Let's see if we can see. Nope, I'm gonna have to get a lot closer.
We'll pull the camera away. Down, Annie.
Yeah. And I can't do horizontal because horizontal said they have a hard time typing. They can't
Down, Annie.
make comments. Okay, go sit in your chair, Frank. Hey, Snow, what's going on? You see Frank? That's good, that's good. Hey, Annie's here too. Annie, come here. Okay. Hey, Snow, we want to know, can you hear us? Because the phone is a little bit far away so that you can see everything, and I just wanted to make sure you can hear us before we started. I should go get one of those like receivers and plug it into my phone and then have two mics. You could have a mic on your lapel and I could have a mic.
It's up to you.
That'd be nice.
Are we live right now?
Mm-hmm.
Can you see if you can hear us?
Mm-hmm.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. This is Frank with Matt. Matt with 1 T.
Open panel. Oh, I gotta mute this. You see the delay?
Look at this chili.
Where's the chat? There it is. So I want to blow it up. Well, that's weird. I want to see the messages.
The one that you had over here?
Yeah, sorry guys, we're trying to get this set up so that we can read your messages. Oh, there we go. Oh, he can hear us. Okay, good. I gotta move this over here. This was the sticker that was in your game. There, it's not blocking anything. Hey, thanks, Snow. All right, before we start, we gotta do the quote, okay, Snow? You ready? See, Snow was on right away. Who else is on? Idiom. Idiom found Orangey. How come it popped up on my phone, but it didn't pop up here?
We've never played this before, have we?
Yes, he found Orangey already. No, I want to get the whole chat window in there. And if we need to send a chat, we can send a chat at the bottom there. No, we have not played this before. That's why. Okay, you guys are not going to believe who else is going to be watching this live. Well, we're going to tell you. We're going to tell you that in a second. Hold on, Frank. We're going to tell you who's watching in a second. But first, we're going to do the quote. Okay. So we're going to do the quote over here. Charles Swindoll, Attitude. Here we go. Only because this helps me a lot. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, and than what other people think or say or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill, and it'll make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We can't change our past. We can't change the fact that people will act in a certain way. And we can't change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Charles Swindoll.
You want me to give a quote or two?
Yeah, hold on. I think since Frank's here, hold on a minute. Frank has let me get you on though, because I moved everything.
Snow
So
says, always love this quote. Hi, Idiom. Chunky Monkey Boy. Hey, I'm back. Donut Dolly's here.
can you guys hear Frank?
Donut Dolly is a sweetie.
She is.
So should I just give my quote?
Oh yeah, we're eating my chili.
It is wonderful. There's no hot spice. Top of my head is not wet. So,
The jalapenos must not be that hot this time.
oh, you put some in there?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And you said you even added some of my yellow mustard seed
Mm-hmm.
for fun.
Mm. So we're eating the chili.
So should I just give my quote?
Hey Dolly. Chunky Monkey Boy. I don't remember Chunky Monkey Boy. Yeah, right. Let's hear
The
Frank.
crock pot,
Frank had,
it must be in the view.
oh, well, no, it was in the view when I was.
Oh yeah,
Let me see.
it's a full crock pot, enough for like
No, it's not in view
a
now.
week.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Frank has his own quotes.
So there's a quote. You know, sometimes you get a little discouraged in life, and you say, "Hey Matt, today is my day of opportunity." That's one of my favorite words, by the way. What fine assets I have: my health, my home, my family, my friends, my jobs. I have a lot of jobs, by the way. I have so many blessings. I'll do my best all day today, and God will help me. I'm glad to be alive. Okay, and then you got to put the armor of God on. Even though Paul, this is in Ephesians, even though Paul had a lot of trouble in Ephesus because of the silversmiths who made idols, he was able to start a church there. When Paul wrote a letter
That's right.
to the Ephesian Christians, he reminded them that Satan is the worst enemy of God and of God's people. When we try to live for God, Satan does all he can to keep us from doing right. It's like a long, hard war all through our lives. But Paul said that we could defeat Satan if we would use some of the equipment soldiers had in those days. First, there was the wide belt
Andy, off.
that protected the middle part of the body. Paul said that truth is like that belt. Right living is like a breastplate. That is metal armor that protects the heart.
Living? Was that it? I got it.
Right living.
Oh,
Right living.
okay.
That's metal armor that protects the heart. Faith is like the shield that protects. Faith is like the shield that protects.
Is it a shield or is it a
I
helmet?
just forgot my saying.
Should we pull up the Bible?
Well, anyway, we'll skip that one. And then there's the helmet of salvation
Oh yeah, that's right.
and the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. Amen. I missed part of it, but this is the first time I've ever done something like this.
That's good. This is Frank's first
At
time
age
being live.
64. Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
this is new stuff anyway. Yes, Andy wants some chili. Okay. Now, first, hey, Big Papa Sandwich Team. Idiom, you're right. She does want some chili. but
Where's
she's
that
going
box
out.
at?
What box?
The game box.
Oh, it's behind the camera.
You should show it. We
Oh,
need,
yeah.
we need to sell these games. And by the way, the only reason I know about this game is because of my great-grandfather was a produce person.
Here's the game box. And this is why, you're going to hear more about this, but you can see down here on the game box is the newspaper, the Columbus Dispatch. And that's where we are right now. We're in Columbus, Ohio. And it's called A Black Shadow. And that's what Frank and I are playing. We're playing case one of true crime stories, which is called The Society of the Black Hand. And Frank's going to tell you a little bit more about it. But first, I'm going to tell you how we're going to have to play this game so that you guys know what's going on. Okay? We'll do this first. we'll tell them about how to play the game. Then you'll tell them the name of the game and show them the book and tell them who's watching, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Hey, Nyla. What's going on? Thanks for joining, everybody. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It helps. And like the video. Okay? Here we go. It says read this before you start. So we got to read this. True crime stories. What is the U.S. Postal Inspection Service? And believe it or not, the USPIS is the oldest federal law enforcement agency in America. And they've seen it all. They've uncovered letter bombs, recovered millions in stolen money, and taken down an entire mafia ring. Now it's time for you to unravel some of their most high-profile cases and crack them yourself. Your mission: to use the clues and evidence which are in this folder, just like a,
Detective folder.
Detective folder, yeah, perfect. In each case, to solve the mystery and catch the criminal. So Frank and I are going to try to play each other. But one of us is going to have to tell you what the clues are all the time, just so that you know what's going on. But here's some pointers to know. When you start a case, you can look at all the documents in any order you want, right? So it's just like a detective folder. This is just all evidence. The only ones that we cannot look at are in the locked folders. During our investigation, we're going to come across websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. And it says try following them because we might find something useful. The reason they added this, even though the case we're doing is from 1908, the reason we have to do that is because we can't go talk to witnesses or visit locations on purpose, right? Because we're not in 1908. So they set up websites for us to look at to maybe get clues, and we can send emails to witnesses and ask them questions, and we will get responses. So this is pretty cool. So that's why we're doing websites and emails, because we're obviously not living in 1908, okay? And it says email replies can sometimes take a few minutes to arrive, so please be patient. Don't forget to check your spam folder. Each piece of evidence has an evidence code. You guys don't need to know that. Frank and I are supposed to ignore it. It's on the corner around the back. It's not a clue, just a reminder to us it's not a clue. And it's important to tackle the cases in order. So start with the Society of the Black Hand. So that's what we're doing. We're starting with the Society of the Black Hand. Now,
Case number one.
Case number one. But Frank, I think Frank's got some info, and this is. Oh wait, I got to read one more thing, and then I'm gonna let Frank take over. This is important. This is a disclaimer. Names, faces, buildings, and places. For privacy reasons, we've changed the names of people, addresses, and companies involved in the original investigations. If we've accidentally made a character that has the same name as you, don't be upset, it wasn't intentional. So the interesting thing is, we looked at one piece of evidence already. The name doesn't match Frank's family member, so Frank knows the actual names, and Frank has some actual real world evidence with the real names on it. So I'm going to share some of that before we start the game. Go ahead, Frank, you can talk about the book or evidence, whatever you want.
So the reason that I even found out about this game, one of my aunts at the funeral wake, we're all Italian, and there was like 18 children. My great-grandfather, Augustino and Maria Iannarino, Iannarino. And I was talking with my brother and my cousins and stuff, and they were saying how my great-grandfather was from Italy, and they came to Columbus to sell produce, and they were known as like a banana king. There was more than one banana king, and my relatives were saying that the governor of the state of Ohio gave my great-grandfather a solid gold banana. And I'm like, what? Because I'm a real skeptical person. Well, I do have a picture of it. It's a little charm. It's about a little bit bigger than a wedding ring, but it is solid gold, and one of my relatives has that right now. So what had happened was there was like before the mafia, these individuals would mail you letters to try to extort money. And my great-grandfather received some of these letters amongst other people, and that's the gist of it.
So, the guy, your great-grandfather's name was Augustino Iannarino.
Iannarino.
And
Iannarino.
so you're not gonna see that name in this game, but.
It might be in there. I don't even know. I haven't.
That's true. What was
No, I think
John
Amicon is a real produce company, I think.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
So they didn't
That's a
change
real
all the
name.
names?
I don't think
they
so.
didn't change- Okay.
I don't know.
But they said they were trying to protect people, so they probably changed your great-grandfather's name.
Well, I forgot to mention this. So there's an author named Shane, Shanew Croston, Croston.
What did he write?
He wrote this book, The Society of the Banana in Ohio. It's the story of the Black Hand. And this is a book, there's several other books. There's one about the postal inspector that helped convict these people. But this is like a person like me that through marriage would be my relative on one of those 18 kids. And it tells about the story, and this is about like in the court, how they got convicted, and it's just very interesting.
So this is an actual nonfiction book on the game that we're going to be playing.
Well, it's a book about the Black Hand Society.
Right.
And the Black Hand Society
isn't
meant to be anything. When these letters were sent, they would always use like a black marker and show a knife, a black, showing a stiletto in your heart or something. And I think that's where the Black Hand name came from. And they were like the mafia before the mafia, is what I would describe them.
Yeah, it is. It's pre-mafia mafia.
They actually put dynamite on my great-grandfather's porch at 200 North Grant Avenue in Columbus, Ohio, and they blew up his porch. And no one was killed, but
no one was hurt either, right?
no one was hurt. It
Because
blew
they
out
were in bed.
all the windows, and this was a group that I don't know. There's a lot of evil, and but they did get convicted. The Bible says, "No, your sins will find you out," or something like that.
Yep. So if you want to read about the Society of the Black Hand, get this book, The Society of the Banana in Ohio by Shane Croston. Right?
Right.
And who's watching, maybe?
Shane, I've never met Shane. I've talked to him, and he said he might try to be listening on here.
So. Yeah, so maybe the author of this book's watching. But you guys, if you want to check out the real story behind this true crime, this is the book.
And maybe someone wants to make a movie.
I know. There's a lot of cool stuff in
maybe
here.
Shane will sell the rights to his book. They can make a movie about this.
Evidence, pictures, letters that they wrote. Crime, mafia. No, not mafia. Society of the Black Hand members. Now, what else do you have, though, Frank?
Oh, should I go through that now?
I don't know. We don't have to. But it's real. It's the real evidence. This is the game. You have real stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, one of the letters.
You can just share whatever one you like.
The city of Columbus, the division of police, when my grandfather's porch blew up, the police chief, his name is John F. O'Connor, O''Connor. This letter is dated May 27th, 1908. It says, "To whom it may concern, this is to certify that the bearer, Augustino Iannarino, and his brother, Ignazio Iannarino, are respectable citizens of the city and are on their way to their old home in Italy. On account of several threatening letters sent them by the Black Hand Society and an attempt made to kill them by placing dynamite under their house in the night season in the city just recently, they have deemed it advisable to leave this country for a while. On account of this threatening attitude, that bad attitude. On account of this threatening attitude of the Black Hand Society, I have advised both of these men to carry a loaded revolver for their personal protection. And then it says, any courtesies extended these men by any of the authorities along their route from this city to their destination in Italy will be appreciated by yours respectively, John F. O'Connor, Chief of Police.
May 27th, 1908. That's pretty cool.
And my grandfather, when they got the letters, him and his wife, they ignored the threats and they never gave any money.
That's pretty wild. So, who do you think's gonna win this game? Me or Frank? Frank has all the real evidence.
And this is a picture of the solid gold banana. It's actually a charm, a bunch of bananas. That is my great-grandfather's gold wedding ring to give a size. So supposedly the governor of the state of Ohio gave that to my great-grandfather and his wife Maria because they were produce distributors in Columbus, Ohio. I have a saying that I trust people until they prove me otherwise. I was told that's a true story. I have never seen an article about it, but I believe it to be true. That's pretty nice.
Yeah. Hey, Dolly thinks I could win because I'm so analytical. That's true. But Idiom says Frank for sure. Sorry, man.
Well, I don't know if there's a winner, or I don't even know.
Yeah, there is.
Is there supposed to be a winner?
Yeah, because we're supposed to do this separately. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to have to look at a piece of evidence and tell them about it. And then you're going to have to look at a piece of evidence and tell them about it because they have to be involved in this game too. So here, did you want to read the inside of it?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll read the outside. Field instructor. Tara Quayle. Tara Quayle. I don't know if it's a male or a female, but it's
Is that
Tara.
like a detective or something, or
Yeah.
a postal inspector?
Postal inspector. Field instructor. It says Tara Quayle. Case number 1, Society of the Black Hand. Graduate training case study. Follow the footsteps of 1908 Postal Inspector Frank Oldfield as you track down a notorious mafia kingpin. Suspected crime, blackmail, and extortion. It even has the case file and volume number down here, and classification code. Okay, I'll let Frank read the inside, because we haven't read this. This is the first time.
Yeah, I've never played this game before. I bought it just because of my family connection a little bit, and so on the top here it talks about, read this first, and it's got the heading at the top about the Potomac, how do you pronounce it, Maryland? Potomac?
Potomac?
The Postal Inspection Service. So it says, Dear recruit, congratulations are in order. In your 16 weeks at the academy, you've exceeded our expectations in every way. Your investigation skills are top notch. Your physical fitness is extraordinary, and your stamp tracking skills are off the charts. Stamp tracking skills. Oh, I know about that.
Yeah, see, he already knows. This is not fair.
We've almost reached the end of your basic inspector training, but before you go, we've got one last test. Let's see how you handle this classic case from 1908. Be warned, it's a real brain teaser. And then it talks about the Society of the Black Hand. It says a wave of extortion and violence is sweeping across the fair town of Columbus, Ohio. Rippling under the surface are rumors of an organized crime syndicate known only as the Black Hand. We've tied these guys to beatdowns, blackmail, and even murders. But we've never been able to get a witness to come forward. It's kind of hard to get witnesses.
Yeah.
That is,
That's why we have email.
until now. John Amicon, the self-declared Banana King, and there's a lot of different Banana Kings in Columbus, Ohio, but anyway, and successful owner of a fruit distribution company, has come to us with a mysterious letter threatening him and his family. The moment these goons chose to use the U.S. postal system for their crimes, they made their biggest mistake yet. Now it's under our jurisdiction. By the way, you don't mess with the post office.
No.
It's federal.
What's the number one first law enforcement agency?
It says we're going to bring whoever sent that letter to justice. And then it says your first mission. Find out who sent John Amicon, Amicon, the threatening letter. And then it says the Pinkertons have highlighted 3 possible suspects. The Pinkertons would be like a security company, like, private police. But we'll need you to narrow it down to 1. When you think you've cracked it, send an email over to, I never saw this before. T as in Tom, KWALE.
Oh, Tara Quayle.
USPS@gmail.com, and let me know who your chief suspect is. And it's signed by Tara Quayle, KWALE, field instructor. I did not know this was going to involve emailing. I'm very skeptical that they'll work, but we'll find out maybe.
So this is going to be cool. So Frank and I are going to review the evidence. We're going to each have a suspect, and we get to email the inspector separately or who we think the main suspect is.
So should I read this letter, or you want to read it?
They all read this one.
Okay.
You do the next one. So we'll just alternate. So, okay. This is the first piece of evidence, guys. This is the letter, and there's a red note on here that's marked by the U.S. probably Postal Inspection Service. It was sent to John Amicon, received May 16th, 1908, sender unknown. But you can see how they signed it, La Mano Nera, the black hand with the black hand. And it says, Mr. Amicon, you are rich and we are of need. We must have $10,000. Maybe someone can look up, how much is $10,000 worth today? $10,000 in 1908 is worth how much today? Give it to us and you will be respected, a well-protected man. If you haven't paid by the end of May, which is 15 days, I shall summon men with daggers in their hands and murder in their hearts. They will be at your door, and it will be too late. You call yourself Banana King, yet consider this. We have killed kings and emperors too. To us it means nothing. Consider yourself carefully, Banana King. We will be watching. La Mano Nera.
Pretty scary to get a letter like that.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially if you're living with your family, they know where you live, because they obviously sent a mail, so they know where his address is. Okay.
Should we just go from the top down?
I guess. I don't know how we're going to do that. You're going to have to look at it. I'm going to have to look at that separately.
This has got the coordinates, degrees, and then it says Columbus, Ohio. So this would be a map of Columbus. And it talks about the mail depot.
It's about $325,000 today.
What?
That's a lot of. Oh yeah, 1908, Frank. It doubles every 15 years.
I didn't know. I thought it was 30,000.
No.
Wait, because you used to be able to buy a house for like 4,000. My dad used to build houses for 15, 20, 30,000.
Frank, how many years ago was it? 117
All
years
right.
ago.
All right.
Wait.
I'm learning.
So 117 years ago, if it's every 15 years, that's about 9, that means it doubles 9 times. So
Okay.
look, 10,000, let's double it 9 times. 20,000, 40, 80, 160, 320. I would think it would be actually more, but we had the Great Depression in there. I would think it would have been $1 million or more, to be honest.
What did Henry Ford sell the Model T? He wanted his employees to be able to afford the car or something. I forget what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is a map. It's got Columbus, Ohio, and different of the cities. Worthington, Ohio.
Look at Idiom.
In Dublin, Ohio.
Idiom's pretty smart.
Jack Nicklaus is from Dublin. Return to sender. All right.
I like that.
You want to open this next one, or you want me to?
No, you. What's the map though, Frank? Because this
It's
is
just
gonna
a-
be clues.
Oh, okay. We'll show it to him. I don't know. It's
All right. Well, I'm gonna win then. Okay. This is the map, and this is the map of Columbus, Ohio. And the center of Columbus is in the middle of this ring. And it looks like the Columbus Mail Depot is up here on the north side of town. On the east side of town was the fruit market. And on the south side of town is the Pinkerton Agency, who is helping the U.S. Postal Inspection Service look into this crime. But I'm thinking there's got to be something else on here that's helpful to understand. Okay.
okay. Next.
Okay, go ahead. You can read one.
Okay, so they've got these large paper clips. So I've never pulled this off before.
Yeah, we got to keep them together. I
So
guess.
the top one is a photograph. It says fruit market, and there's all the fruit right there. And it says here, so this first one is a letterhead from John Amicon Bro and Company, the Banana Kings. So it says from the desk of John Amicon, and it was on Naughton Street and 3rd Street. That's in downtown Columbus, Ohio. And it says, "Good morning, Inspector. Thank you for helping me. I am a hard-working man. My brother and I came to this country at 14 years with nothing. Together, we became kings. Now, these bandits send us this warning. They want to take what is ours, to rob, cheat, and steal while we make an honest name for ourselves. We say, no more. Us brothers, we are from the old country. Like many other fruit merchants in the area, we see a lot of trouble just like this, but no one goes to the police. But now we must fight back. I do not know for sure who plots against me, but I am sure he is close. He knows my name, he knows where I work, and where to find me. He is hiding in plain sight. You must find him before it's too late. I have sent a record of all my sales to merchants in the last months. It is not much, but I am sure the outlaw is amongst them."
Well, let me see that.
Finish reading the rest.
Oh,
That's a clue, maybe. I don't know.
that could be a clue from the desk of John Amicon. He's writing to the inspector. When he says we're from the old country, I wonder what that
In
means.
Italy.
Italy. Oh, okay.
I'm Italian. My parents were born in the States.
Okay.
My grandmother was one of the, I can't remember, 18 or 19 children that my great-grandfather and his wife had. And I've asked Matt to go to Italy with me.
To merchants.
So read that. You want me to
When he,
finish
sells,
reading it?
when he sends a record of all his sales to merchants in the last month, he's like a wholesaler? Is that
Yeah,
what
they're wholesalers.
Okay.
I believe they were wholesalers.
Yeah, because he's saying he's Why would he send a record of all his sales to merchants?
Well, if the law enforcement want to know, like, who could this be? Maybe it's someone you're selling stuff to, or I don't know. Let's just read it.
Yeah.
Read that last line.
I have sent a record. So John Amacon's writing this to the inspector of the Postal Service. I have sent a record of all my sales to merchants in the last months. It is not much, but I am sure the outlaw is amongst them. As for the Black Hand, they live in secret. We only know as much as the newspaper tells us. Good luck, Inspector. Bring the criminal to justice. John Amacon. Translation supplied by Detective Francis Diamio. It was probably written originally in Italian.
Yeah, I think a lot of this was Italian.
Okay, then here's the next. Whoa. Okay, I'll do this one and then you have to do this. Okay, this one. John Amacon Brothers and Company, Banana Kings. Order manifest for the allocation of cargo on board the SS Saxonia. So these are all the orders that they had that came on the last shipment, on the last big shipment, and who he sold them to. So the shop, Local Gardens, the contact is Kurt Hess. The order was $800 for oranges and it was paid. The next shop is Vivier Freshy, contacts Isaac Glenn, $1,200 for pears and onions and it's paid. Fresh Seasons, I don't know why, but there's a little skull next to Fresh Seasons, like someone hand drew a skull next to that shop, and they crossed out the contact of Lidio Candido and put in a contact of Enteri Candito, so a different Candito. $400 for bananas, and it's the only one that's not paid. It's unpaid. It says it's awaiting payment. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more shops and contacts ranging from pears to oranges to limes to bananas, and anywhere from $350 to $2,200. And the one with $2,200, that shop is Sam Lima, or Sam Lima. And the shop's name is Banana della Societa. $2,200 for bananas, oranges, and pears. And they paid. So it's just a list of the last major shipment that he got in as a wholesaler and who he sold it to and who paid and who didn't pay. So I think Frank and I are going to have to study this one. I think they're trying to make one of them stand out because they put a little skull next to Fresh Seasons, changed the contact name, and they're the only ones who didn't pay. So that's kind of strange. Hey, Olivia! Olivia's joined. We get to meet the man, the legend. Frank's here. So glad I could actually get on tonight. Yep, experience will be beneficial here. Yep. Idiom, to figure our clues. I think the guy who is blackmailed is a banana merchant.
Idiom, it's a she, right? She's a thinker.
Yes, she's a thinker, yeah. But the thing is John Amacon and Frank's great-grandfather, they were known as the Banana Kings. So they were the wholesalers of fruit known as the Banana Kings. So I'm not 100% sure that the shop merchant has to be getting bananas from him. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 13 or 14 shops are getting bananas from the Banana King. The rest of them are pears and oranges, limes, onions. Paris said Paris. Hey Olivia, thanks for joining. All right. Okay. There was one more thing in this. We gotta keep
It's
these
right
together.
here.
We gotta keep these
So
together.
this is from the Columbus Dispatch from Friday, the 1st of May, 1908.
1st of May, 1908.
And this is just from the game. But can I read this from the Columbus Metropolitan Library? This is a true copy of the paper.
Oh, okay. So Frank's gonna read,
I'm gonna read this.
the actual article from the real newspaper.
Related to my great-grandfather.
Okay.
So this is dated May 13, 1908. And it says on this page, it's got like Italian colony lives in deadly terror of secret blackmailers who adopted desperate revenge on man who refused demand for $10,000. Now the article here says the letters from Black Hand contained various threats. So here's the part that I kind of laugh at, if this is the right one. And there's a picture of is a stiletto a dagger or just a dagger?
Stiletto is like a heel. It's like
Okay, no, it's a dagger then. I'm sorry. So there's a picture of a dagger in the chest of this person,
Oh yeah.
and it was always in black ink. So that's part of the Black Hand name, I believe.
Yeah, it says this is a facsimile of drawing on black hand letters. So sometimes they would put this on their letters too, not just a black hand, but they'd have a drawing of someone with a knife in their chest. This is an actual newspaper article.
And you can look that up yourself through the Columbus Metropolitan Library. They have archives of all old newspapers, and if you want to look up things, they have keyword searches.
I like this. Italian colony lives in deadly terror of secret blackmailers who adopted desperate revenge on man who refused a demand for $10,000.
Right,
That's
and
beautiful.
And the part that I wanted to read, it says, "We will cut you up and pack you in a barrel if you do not pay the money," said one of the letters received by the Iannarino brothers. It says right here, they're quoting, it says, "We can make you fly," promised another. This is interpreted to mean that they knew how to use dynamite. Okay?
Interpreted.
And it says, a letter received shortly after the stick of dynamite was first found on the doorstep said, "We placed the dynamite there, but cut out the fuse. We wanted you to know that we are always at your shoulders." All the letters were filled with dire threats of death and torture if the demand for money was not complied with by April 1st. So before they actually blew up his porch, they just put a real stick of dynamite there. And they got the dynamite from, like, in Columbus, Ohio, we have quarries
Oh yeah, the chorus.
where they get gravel, and you can imagine
Oh yeah.
there's dynamite around. So there
we
was
we can't confuse real evidence, real articles with the
Right.
game articles.
So that article was from the Columbus Citizen, and then here's another one that says "banished by the Black Hand," and so there was all these interesting articles that I'm interested in. But here's the clue.
Who joined? Hey Cole. And Dolly says she has your Yeti cup.
Yes,
Sure.
I brought this in honor of Orangey.
Oh yeah, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, what?
There's a picture of the real Orangey, by the way, guys.
This is the real Orangey, and you'll notice these are my car wash cats. They all just appear at the car wash.
That's only half of them.
We have open trash cans at the car wash, and people dump things at my car wash. It's a self-serve car wash. They dump tires, they dump cats. But you'll notice the cat's ear has been clipped. That means it's been spayed or neutered. And then this is my cat Fluffy that I am able to pick up. This is Georgia. Georgia, I believe has a collar and an Apple AirTag. And then this is Ginger. Now these two cats won't let me pick them up. But what you do, in order to catch a cat at your car wash, you use cameras. And if you feed a cat in a like an old dog cage, and you have a hidden camera and a string tied to the door, I guarantee you, if you feed that cat 60 days in that cage, and the day that you're a vet appointment, all you gotta do is just pull the string and take the cat to the vet, and they have a good program in Columbus to fix the cats, and then you just put them back. Now, my wife has let me bring 3 of them home. Now, she doesn't know this. Well, she does know. I'm gonna be sneaking this cat home one day.
This
All right.
cat, that's the most friendly cat for sure.
So here's an article off the game from the Columbus Dispatch. It talks about, we want our Gin Fizz. That's just an article that talks about the Gin Fizz, the Henry Ramos, it's different things. And here's an article about the Hand in Hand Saloon. It says the bar is closed next Thursday for deliveries. It's on Plum Street. And here's the travel section. It talks about catching a train. And over here, there's an obituary. And the obituary is for, it says, remembering Lido, Lidio. It says, friends and family of Lido are invited to pay their respects this Saturday after the dreadful tragedy. See, I don't even know this story. It's just, it's still sad here. Dreadful tragedy that took place on April 18th. Anyone interested in attending are asked to visit Fresh Seasons and speak to his son, who misses him greatly. He was a wonderful father who was taken for far too soon. We will never forgive the ones responsible, whoever they may be. All members of the nearby community are expected to attend, so visitors are asked to arrive early. Flowers are very much appreciated, as are any photos of the deceased. The Columbus Dispatch has reached out to nearby members of the community for further details about the incident. If anyone has information, they are encouraged to contact the Columbus Police Department right away. I'm not aware of that. But on the other side, it says the Columbus Dispatch, Friday, the 1st of May, 1908, the haunting shadow of the Black Hand. And it says a grim cloud moves across our city, unseen, but felt by many. Beware of the Black Hand. And it says right here, a grim cloud moves across our city, unseen, but felt by many. Beware of the Black Hand. Far away on the coast of Naples, the poverty and pain of homeless boys has given rise to a wave of deceit and bloodshed on our very streets.
This is the actual game, but it could actually be a reproduction of an article. We don't know.
You may not have seen them, but they have seen you. They are La Mano Negra, or as they're more commonly known, the Black Hand. So maybe that's how it started, these boys in Naples. At first, they were considered a ragtag group of swindlers and nothing more. However, these criminals are as organized as they are ruthless, and the grasp of the Black Hand is felt all over the nation, with major activity being reported in New Orleans, Philadelphia, Boston, and yes, even our fair city of Columbus, Ohio. Well, practice in extortion, blackmail, and even murder, these bandits use threatening letters to prey on the innocent Italian workers in our country. Often these workers speak little English and have no trust by the police.
It even says, this is how your lectures will be in college, Olivia.
When the fateful letters arrive, they usually have no choice, even when they have nothing to give. Still, some choose not to be swayed. Sadly, it often ends in tragedy. 2 weeks ago, a local trader, identified as Lido, Lidio, was shot dead outside his own store. In his pocket was a note asking for immediate payment of $1,000. Marked at the bottom was a drawing of a gun next to a dark black hand. For locals, this will be a familiar scene. The Black Hand have shown time and time again that they are prepared to follow through with their threats. Thanks to the fear they've distilled within the community, There are very rarely any eyewitnesses, even when the crimes occur in broad daylight. Last week, police were forced to release Joseph Battaglia and
We need a white.
Saverio or Salvatore Ventola
I agree.
from custody, despite being chief suspects in the investigation. Assistant Superintendent Captain John Russell had this to say: "It is our strong suspicion that these men have acted as hitmen for the Black Hand organization. However, a complete lack of witnesses have made it impossible to progress. Once again, we are urging members of the public to come forward with any information on this case." And then it says the investigation continues.
Okay, so far, it's almost like we don't have clues. This is like we're going through the folder or the file in order. Hold on. No, I'm thinking we gotta do something else because I'm reading this. They're like, up here they were talking about, oh my God, it's so boring. That's why I'm doing online classes.
Okay.
No offense, blah, 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 blah.
This is my first time on
No, it's
on
not you,
YouTube.
it's us.
Oh, it's us.
Because we are just reading the clues. So I think what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna read one clue, and then I'm gonna come up there and I'm gonna show it to you and give you a brief summary. While I'm doing that, Frank's gonna read another clue, and he's gonna come up there and give you a brief summary. So we're not just reading all this paper to you.
Frank is in his own little world.
Well,
reading
we'll
history
do it.
clues. That is a true statement.
What was it?
Frank is in his own little world.
Reading history clues.
You were right on it, Olivia. Sorry.
Yeah, well, Frank's confusing me because he pulls out the real life clue, the real life story, and then we go to the game. I can't do that because I'm getting confused.
Well, we should just skim them.
Yeah, we gotta skim them, but we have to tell them though. We skim them and then we go up and tell them what's up. But then you're skimming the next one while I'm talking to them, so then you can go up there and give them a summary instead of
You
us
remember
just
Paul
reading
Harvey?
it. Yeah.
The rest of the story? I know the rest of the story.
I know, you know the whole story. He knows, like, he read something about postage stamps and he already knows the answer, so it's not fair. Matt being too focused on the chat. I'm trying to make this work right. So, okay, Frank's in his own little world. My brain is thinking about lollipops and roller coasters. Olivia's crying. Oh my God, it's so boring. Woke me right up. Okay. All right, Terrifier. No, we're not going to deal with him. I have to get rid of him, I will. I bet on Frank, I knew it. You got to bet on Frank. No, don't be on this channel. All right, look. So, this is, okay, here's the summary of this letter. We wouldn't have to read the whole letter. All we'd have to do is come up here and go, hey, John Amicon, the guy who got the Black Hand letter to be extorted for 10 grand, he sent a record of all his sales to merchants in the last month. It's not much, but he thinks the outlaw's amongst them. So here's what's attached. So I don't see anything very crazy on here other than, obviously, Fresh Seasons has a little skull next to it. But John Amicon could have put a skull next to it just because they're the only ones who haven't paid yet. And then he's got a new contact. So, and they're the only ones who haven't paid. So, of course, that shop looks very suspect. But on the other hand, it could just be that John Amicon is mad at him because he hasn't gotten paid yet, okay? I don't know. There's not a whole lot of clues here, but you got to look at the whole thing. And then there's this Columbus Dispatch, all these articles and obituaries. But here's the main article. This is our main newspaper in Columbus. This is like the only newspaper now. And the title of this article is The Haunting Shadow of the Black Hand, because that's how they would sign off on all their letters. But Frank, how would you summarize? Would you go up there? Oh, wait, where's...
There, put that back together.
How would you summarize this article to them?
Well, it's a plea from the newspaper to ask for witnesses. The article talks about the people that are witnesses. For one, they don't trust the police, and they don't speak the language. And
La Mano Nera,
there
La
was
Mano Nera, the Black Hand.
there was a funeral that someone got killed.
Yeah. Frank is such a W. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
What does that mean, Olivia? Frank is such a W. What's a W? So at first, the Black Hand, or La Mano Nera, they were considered a ragtag group of swindlers and
Oh, yeah,
nothing more.
The boys, they grew up.
They just grew up and became like the mafia before the mafia existed. Honestly, the Society of the Black Hand was like the first mafia group ever. Went after his great-grandfather.
Here it gives the answer. W means win.
Oh, good. Oh, that's a good thing. Oh, sweet. Yeah, Frank is.
Thank you, Olivia.
I don't know how to explain it in the context I used it. Major activities in New Orleans. Okay, here's the key point. Major activities of the La Mano Nera are in New Orleans, Philadelphia, Boston, and Columbus. New Orleans, Philadelphia, Boston, Columbus. Extortion and murder. Little English, and don't trust the police. And then 2 weeks ago, a local trader named Lydio was shot dead outside his own store. Now wait a minute.
So that was
Lydio was Lydio one of these? Yes. Look at this. So I just put this together. So from this article, the reason Lydio is not a contact at Fresh Seasons anymore is because he was shot and killed outside his own shop. That's probably why they haven't paid their $400 for the bananas yet. And that's probably why Enteri Candito took over as the main contact. So I don't look at them as
okay.
as suspects in this.
So should we just go to the next one, and I'll skim it, or you could read this one and skim it.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, you read it and then give them a summary. I'm skimming this one for them. I'm kind of like just hitting the highlights, you know.
So they're trying to get suspects and get people to talk.
Yeah, and I just connected these dots, so I wanted to show them. But yeah, because they wouldn't pay $1,000. So here's one. Here's another name. Last week, police were forced to release Joseph Battaglia and Saverio Salvatore Ventola from custody, despite being chief suspects in the investigation. And they think they're hitmen for the Black Hand Society. Joseph Battaglia and Saverio Salvatore Ventola. So those are two, obviously, main suspects, I think. On the backside, I'm just worried that there's information on the backside of the Columbus Dispatch. So here, this might be a clue, because this is in the news, and it has to do with fruit. It says there's a very popular drink, Columbus's favorite cocktail is the gin fizz, and it's been the go-to drink since the 1880s in Columbus, and they love it, but it has lemon in it. and there's global shipping problems, and lemons have been missing from bars for over 3 months. Will the citizens of Columbus ever revel in that sweet taste of citrus ever again? Only time will tell. So for some reason it must be important that lemons are hard to come by. And if you look at this sheet of shipments, nobody's got lemons. They're all limes, oranges, bananas, pears. I don't know if that's important or not, but it means something. Hey, wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
It's 9:01 already.
Is it? Oh, okay. I know, it's hard to do this. What are the comments saying, Frank?
It says,
Oh, by the way, and then there's also trains coming in and out of Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Philadelphia. So we probably need to know that. So there's not only New Orleans, Boston, and I think Philadelphia was the other city, but we need to know about Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Philly. Trains coming in and out of Philly. So yeah, I'm piecing this together. All right, go ahead.
all right, let's just move
Olivia,
on.
Cincinnati.
Put that one away. Put the big paper clip back
Okay,
on that
go
one.
ahead.
Let's move on.
Yeah, you gotta move
So
on.
I took the big paper clip off.
Okay.
You know, detectives always use big paper
I
clips.
know.
And here's the first one.
You gotta tell them.
It says Pinkerton Agency, and it shows their sign, and they have a nice building there. And then here's the letterhead from Pinkerton's National Detective Agency. It says, "We never sleep." And look, there's an I. It says, "Inspector, good to hear from you. Glad we've got your help on this. We've been hounding these Black Hand boys for a while now. Even got our best man working the case. The guy's called Francis Diamalo, Diamaao. He's a goddamn natural. I gotta say, that Banana King sells to some pretty shady guys. Ooh. We've got files on 3 of his customers, okay? All with previous convictions. Ooh, getting some clues here. So the Pinkertons are doing an investigation they've hired. If I was a betting man, I'd say one of them is your guy, okay? We ain't gonna tell you how to do your job, but if it were up to me, I'd try to find their alibis, then see which ones stick. My man, Diamaao, been snooping around the fruit market. Overheard some pretty interesting stuff. Thought you'd like to see it. Also, the local postman's a bit of a nut for you guys. Said I'd pass on a letter for him as well. Good luck, pal. Robert Pinkerton. Ooh. So here's 3 cards of these suspects. You wanna read one? I'll read one first, or
Okay.
you wanna read one? That's a suspect. Go
What?
ahead.
This is a suspect. Oh,
These people have criminal records. They could be part of the society.
this is wild. Because this is Lydio Candito's family member, the one who's the new contact at the Fresh Seasons. He possibly killed his own family member. So he could be involved. We just don't know that yet. His name is Enteri Candito. Alias is Terry. 24 years old, 6 foot tall, brown hair, only 150 pounds. Family, he's got a mother and no siblings. He's a fruit trader. He assaulted a police officer. He assailed a police officer at 9:50 p.m. during an active crime scene. Released on bail 3 days later. This is when Lydio Candito got murdered. That's the same day he got arrested.
Okay. I can't even read that. What's that name?
That's Loris Bertoldi.
So he's a potential suspect.
Loris-
It says here he was apprehended May 6, 1908, and he's age, how old is he, 50 something? I can't read it, 57.
57, I think.
It says height 6'2", eye color hazel, weight 167 pounds. The family unknown, the occupation, it says saloon owner. The crime it says vandalism, intimidation. The additional comments, it says accused by several shop owners of vandalizing their stores, picked up and detained at 4:30 p.m., released 2 weeks later after witness testimony was withdrawn.
Can I see that name? Okay, should I read that next one?
Yeah.
Okay. The third one is Salvatore Lima, who goes by Sam. Maybe it's 31, not 51. Maybe this guy's 31, 5'9", brown hair, 172 pounds. Apprehended May 12th, 1908. Married with 3 kids, fruit trader, drunk and disorderly conduct and assault. Assaulted a ticket officer at the rail services. Officers arrested him at the Columbus station at 3:05 p.m. Released 5 days later on bail.
Okay, so those are our suspects apparently.
Well, does that say suspects?
Or
Does that really say suspects?
their potential.
Yeah, okay.
So here's some correspondence from Detective Francis DiMaio. It says, to whom it may concern. I've been hanging around the fruit market for the past few weeks, listening out for anything out of the ordinary. Picked up a couple of bits. Maybe they lead somewhere. Maybe not. I'll let you be the judge. Good luck, Detective Francis DiMaio. And then it has the date of April 10th, 2:14 p.m. And it's got E. Candido, and he walks around like he owns the place. I've had enough of it. And then the I don't read about. Calm yourself. Remember where you are. And then the E. period Candido. It's too much to pay, and you know it. This can't go on. We've both decided that. ... So this is just some correspondence about their investigation. It says, need you to keep an eye on the store. They're talking to the S. Lima. So I think we should move on for the sake of time.
Okay.
We've got our suspects on over.
So here's the last one.
Okay.
The key points in here are, if mail is delivered around Ohio, it'll be delivered in 1 to 2 days. That's the Columbus Depot guarantee. If it's out of state, that's a different story. It's 3 to 5 days to deliver. And the next part gets interesting. They have a new technology called stamp tracing technology.
What?
It means you give us a name, so postal clerk, you give us a name, and we'll be able to track all their outgoing and money transfers. So they'll track all their outgoing money transfers. There's just one catch. We can't just go around tracking everybody at the same time. So if you want results, we'll need you to narrow down your search and give us just one name. After that, we can get to work. Good luck, Inspector. Together we can kick these guys out of Columbus for good. Robbie Watts, Junior Inspector at the Postal Service. Oh, here, this was with it.
Okay, what's the next one in our book? It says Special Investigations, File A4. It says locked, do not open. What? Are we allowed to open this?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to catch up on
It says the
Or,
case
yeah.
name is the Society of the Banana, and it gives the case file number and the volume number. And it's the United States Postal Inspection Service. Well, this has never been opened. I gotta, oh my goodness. I'm gonna get my knife out.
Dolly is talking about men lie about 2 inches. I don't know what that means. Oh, and then she says about their height.
We've lost our audience.
No, because we're giving the how tall people were.
I wanted to throw in a plug for the Leatherman multi-tool.
Don't go ahead.
It's my favorite. Everything you can imagine in there. Okay, you ready?
I don't remember
I'm not
6th
ready.
grade at all. I'm just reading that.
I don't remember sixth grade. They used to give swats in 6th grade if you were bad.
No, I don't.
You'd have to hold out your hand and they
No.
kind of hit it with a little.
No, I
I'm
missed that.
64.
I know.
I was in elementary school. Okay, moving right along.
Okay, go ahead.
It says file A4, Columbus Mail Depot. It's the Career Development Unit, United States Postal Inspection Service Academy, Potomac, Maryland. It says, nice job, recruit, and it goes on. No, I should read this. It says, if you're reading this, it means you're on the right track. Sam Lima had been locked up for 4 days when Mr. Amicon received the threatening letter. However, mail from, oh, you read this already. Mail from outside Ohio can take anywhere from 3 to 5 days to arrive.
That must be important.
Mr. Lima was traveling back from Philadelphia the day he got arrested, and there's a good chance he sent the letter from there, then got himself locked up to cover his tracks. Now, you've got reasonable suspicion. It gives you the power to dig a little deeper. Back in 1908, Frank Oldfield used stamp tracing technology to track Mr. Lima's mail. Take a look and see what you think. You're on the right track, but you'll need more evidence if you want the charges to stick. And then it says your second mission, find 2 more pieces of evidence that link Sam Lima to the threatening letter. And it says once you think you've got it, head to www.true-crime.bigpotato.com/black-hand and punch in the evidence. And that was from Tara Quayle, the field inspector. I don't know if we're gonna have time to do this, are we?
Maybe not.
Should we just move on since I know stuff, or do you wanna go to the internet and try that?
We can finish it another day.
All right, well, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Here's the outgoing mail report. Persons of interest, Salvatore Sam Lima.
Yeah, that was one of the one of the suspects.
So it says here, on May 26th,
B's back.
the recipient was Camilla Lima, and it says the address 17 Via Corintera, Naples, Italy, and the amount was $100. Also, that was some money they spent. And then there was an envelope, and then they sent $500, they sent $300 envelope. There was a $350, $100, $500. It says, it's been a week since you asked us to track old Samuel Lima. Here's everything that's gone out. In fact, he was here a minute ago. Wanted us to send this out tonight. P.S. He dropped a matchbox on his last visit. Thought it might be useful. And that was signed by Robbie Watts. And I found a matchbox.
There's a matchbox in here?
That is amazing. Whoever, this Big Potato Company is an amazing company. Uh-oh. We're gonna break the rules.
No.
Agostino Marfisa in Italy. It says envelope A5, do not open until given permission.
We're not giving
That
permission.
involves the internet probably.
Probably.
But it's 9:15 already.
Agostino Marfisi instead of Agostino Inorino. This is funny. They renamed Frank's great grandfather. Look at the name they gave him.
Well, how do we know that's my great
Well,
grandfather?
I'm just guessing.
Well, you guess.
They used Augustino, and it looks like Augustino. You know what I mean?
I think we should open it.
No, I don't think so. I think this needs to be played again, and we can play it on the screen.
We could
You have to leave.
play it, you and I together on our own, and then do part 2 on.
That's true. It'd be easier to do it that way.
Or I could just tell the rest of the story right now.
Yeah, I think.
No, I better not.
No.
Well, I could.
No, you could. It doesn't mean it's going to be the same as the game because the names were changed. So
Well,
Frank
I hope
knows
it has the same ending as the real. You know what?
Well, it probably has the same ending.
That's
but
the end.
It's the
I
end.
think you're right. We better go to the internet and find out. Apparently, the Big Potato Game Company has more clues.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
my job was mentally exhausting. Oh, everybody's just chit-chatting here.
Olivia says you should. It'll be 100% better.
Yeah, this is Frank in real life, by the way. So, okay, I think we should do this. Frank, I think we should finish up the game
Yeah.
another time. I think, okay, do you want us to try to like play this game and get on the internet? Or do you want to hear the real life story from Frank on what actually happened?
Or
Let's take a
both.
vote. No, let's take a vote.
Well, we could go on the internet and see what pops up.
Well, yeah, that's true. What is it? Frank, nice to meet you, says B.
I have a short, thank you, B. I have a short attention span.
Okay, go ahead.
Where's that address?
Oh yeah, just give it to me. It'll be
I don't
easy
know
for
where
me
it
to
is.
look at and type it.
I lost it.
So I think, yeah, that's why. Forget it. I think it's good for you to tell the story, Frank. It says whatever you guys feel like. Time for water. B must have just worked out.
Why don't we at least do this? Why don't you type this in on the internet and see if it's working? www.true-crime.bigpotato.com/black-hand. You want to try it or no? You want me to just tell the rest of the story?
Find 2 more pieces of evidence that link Sam Lima to the threatening letter. What do you think you got it? But see, you gotta find it before we go here. We haven't found anything.
Well,
Frank.
there was that other email we were supposed to do too earlier.
I know,
I
that's why.
apologize. Here.
That's why we have to play it. I think we should play it together and then play it
Okay.
online. It's too complicated. So we're gonna play this. We'll finish this game on another episode, but we're gonna tell you the real story because that's actually more interesting anyway. Because Frank knows exactly what happened in real life. This man is
So
Frank.
you want me to tell the story the way I think I know it?
I think so.
How these people were convicted?
Yeah, that's it. Frank Mascari, but it's M-A-S-C-A-R-I, right?
Yeah, Frank A. A stands for Albert.
Frank A. Mascari. M-A. There's no E in Frank A. Mascari. That's it. But she's got it. Olivia remembered your name almost perfectly. Okay. Orangey. Orangey's right there now. All right. Olivia says, tell the story.
Okay, so from what I understand,
I'll watch the comments. So.
my great grandfather had, of course, a lot of children, and
I'll bring this. I'm going to get you in it.
I guess he was considered wealthy since he had a business. And somehow the Italians in Italy would come to Columbus, Ohio. Other Italians, what were those kids that were growing up? What they call them?
Oh, in the game?
Yeah, earlier those kids that were not good. That was the beginning of their crime.
Oh, yeah, there was like ragtag.
So we can learn from this. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
so somehow these people decided to start extorting money, and from what I understand, they would mail a letter like, let's say they're in Marion, Ohio, and they would mail the letter to one of their members. And let's say that member was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania or somewhere, or in Cincinnati, and then that person would remail it. So the postmark couldn't go back to Marion, Ohio.
Yeah.
And then when you open the letter, obviously, like, hey, you gotta give us money. And I think that was a common thing, you know, protection and, anyways, I don't know all the other.
But it's weird, but
examples.
it's like Italians were picking on Italians, right?
Right,
It wasn't like Italians were going after another ethnic group. They were writing in Italian because they didn't know English, and they were picking on wholesalers or
just people that
Other
they thought had
people.
money, and
yeah.
one of the reasons that these extortionists, and by the way, that reminds me of when my phone rings, there's these people calling you all the time. They want, you know, my cable TV company, Medicaid, Medicare, and it's still happening today. And there's older people being scammed all the time. They trick you into giving you the PIN number. And I'm sure we've all read stories about these older people that were extorted, and that's very sad.
It's just all electronic now.
So in
as
the
opposed to
meantime-
through the mail.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing's changed. Just the delivery method.
So there were a lot of this going around the United States, and one day Inspector Frank Oldfield, the postal inspector, he went to Marion, Ohio, and he told the clerk at the post office, and by the way, my wife was a clerk in the Columbus area post office, so, you know, so this postal inspector told the clerk that if this individual came in to buy stamps, they were to sell these stamps only, and they were specially marked. So then, when these people mailed the threatening letters, that was the special stamp, and then that was the key evidence how they were able to get an indictment to take these people to justice and put them in prison. And there was
But how did they get them to use those special stamps?
well, the people that were receiving the extortion letters, they sort of thought they knew who was sending them, because they would see someone out at their business, and they, you know, a lot of times when criminals, they just know, like, you know, you see well, who could be sending this? They obviously know me, and oh, it's probably so and so.
Yeah.
And but you can't prove it, and even the witnesses, they didn't want to talk because they probably would be killed. So there was also a famous Italian police detective in New York. I forget his name, and I apologize. And there are several books about the Black Hand Society, including the postal inspector Frank Oldfield. And the gentleman from New York, the police inspector, he was able to help crack this case. And he actually traveled back to Italy, where he was from, to do investigations. And they actually killed him. And it just was very sad, but I guess the bottom line was these people were eventually caught. I do have a question to ask. When you get your mugshot, why are they wearing hats? I've never gotten a good answer for that.
Yeah, I know. Back then they wore hats for their mugshot. That is bizarre. I never thought about that either. Maybe because they always wore that hat, or they were apprehended in the hat, so they take the picture in the hat.
So this book, for example, talks about.
Oh, wait, Idiom's got a good question.
Yes.
So the Black Hand Society is the police? Is that what you're saying, Frank?
No, the Black Hand Society is the mafia before the mafia.
So before they were called the mafia or the mob, it was the Black Hand Society, because there was a bunch of Italians but this was 1908, before the mafia got that name, and they would actually put that stamp of a black hand on the letter so that you knew it came from them, the Black Hand Society, or La Mano Nera, which means the black hand in Italian. So they went by La Mano Nera, and they would put a black hand on their letter so that you would be afraid and you would know it was from them. But, you know, yeah, could the police be involved? Yes, but not in this case. It wasn't. What Frank is saying is they kind of knew who it was because of the people that they were interacting with and knew where they live and all that kind of stuff, or people who would come to their store, or maybe ask questions, who knows. But they had suspicions, so they tracked a few people with special stamps, and they were able to track down how these letters were being sent from city to city to the victim, and they were able to apprehend everybody. It's just kind of interesting how it worked.
So here's a picture of the Iannarino family from September 22nd, 1929.
So do you remember, they want to know, in real life, do you know who killed the deli man or the banana man? The one Fresh Seasons Lidio?
I do
Who
not.
got killed? Who killed that guy?
And I had never really heard that before and wasn't aware. I guess I only know a certain amount of this.
Yeah, you know about your family.
And I don't
Frank's
know,
family
I don't
wasn't
know all
killed.
the crime. I just know that they mailed letters, and my great grandfather refused to pay, and they blew up his porch.
So Frank's family, no one in your family was killed, right?
No.
So Frank knows all about what happened in his family and the letters and the extortions and all that kind of stuff, and the bombs on the porch and blew out the windows in the port, blew up the porch. But nobody got hurt and no one ever got killed in his family. So he's not sure who killed that one other retailer, but obviously they all got apprehended. They all got caught. All the Black Hand Society people got caught in this operation.
So it's a very interesting story, and I just wanted to show this one picture here. How would you like to have about 18 children?
Let me see, is that your family?
That's my great grandparents. So
Here's a picture of Frank's family in this book, okay? Here's the book we were telling you about if you wanted to read all about this real life saga. And this photo, this is a picture in the book of from Frank's family.
great grandparents.
Great grandparents. Who is it? It is the Iannarino. Is that how you say it? Iannarino? Iannarino family. September 22nd, 1928. So this is a good 21 years after, after the extortion, but you can see he's right here.
Those aren't all the children. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's more. He said there's 18 children.
18 or I can't remember.
18 or 19.
Some died, early birth.
But this is the guy whose porch got blown up, and windows all got blown out about 21 years prior. This guy right here. This is his family. These two.
I went to the Franklin County people to try to find a picture of my great grandfather's house. And the only thing I could find is this aerial view. Like, that's probably, what's the river in downtown Columbus called?
The Sauna or Olentangy? The one in the middle is Olentangy.
I don't know, that's the river, and there's obviously downtown Columbus has changed. But the house that they used to live in has been torn down. And here's a picture of like the produce company, the Amacon's block. So you can imagine. Oh yeah, that's the letterhead for my great grandfather.
This is Augustino Iannarino's and Sons letterhead.
or invoice or something.
Bananas, oranges, lemons, and other fruits. 526 East Rich Street, Columbus, Ohio. That's pretty sweet. That's a
I have a
letterhead.
joke I wanted to tell you.
A joke after people getting murdered?
So they would say, I like to say this, they say, let me make sure I get this right. They say, who's that guy up there next to Mr. Frank? They say, oh, that's the Pope. So I think I said that right. So I'll go out to an event, and not lately, but there's always one of my relatives somewhere. When you're Italian, you have a lot of relatives. And they're all very good Christian people. And they always feed us good. My uncle and aunt, they had a grocery store and sold a lot of produce. And, my dad was a home builder and carpenter. And some of my relatives were police officers, my first cousins. And a couple of my cousins had car washes. That's how I learned about car washes. So the Italians are a good group, but there's always going to be evil. And
Did you have any in your family that were part of the mafia or mob?
no, but I guess there was an article in there there was a sentence in that book there about a lot of people used to do bookmaking. Now these weren't bad people extorting money, but before the lottery, you'd gamble by calling somebody, and there might have been a little bit of that going on somewhere.
Okay.
We won't tell anybody.
We won't.
Is this on the internet?
This is not on the internet. No, we are not on the internet right now. Are we on the internet?
So, in the meantime, in the Bible it talks about having faith as small as a mustard seed. They're pretty small. Oops. And I guess I just wanted to share that we should always be detectives to help people.
Mm-hmm.
There's always someone that's in need. What if those young boys back in Italy had, Grandpa Frank or somebody and told them not to extort candy from their friends? You never know. Every little deed that we do could help someone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my goals.
You're good at that.
And when I empty the trash at the car wash, my wife and I own this self-serve car wash, and we are a depository of stolen things a lot. Because it's a 24-hour car wash that has open trash cans and it's well lit. And I'll be emptying the trash, and there's all these women's purses or duffel bags and all these IDs and car title. And so what happens is when people go in Columbus, Ohio area, they break your window and steal your stuff, they don't want your credit cards, and they bring them to my car wash. So I become a detective. And before I call the police, I spread everything out, and I try to find a phone number to call the people before I turn it into the police. And people are very appreciative. And there's been a couple crimes that I've helped solve, and
That's true. Frank has.
one involved the person murdering for 4 people after I helped get him arrested, and it involved OxyContin. He had a drug problem, this person, and it's just, I struggle with a form of PTSD. I just want people to know Jesus. So anyways,
Do you know John Rosati? They're asking.
no.
No? Okay.
There's a window company in Columbus.
Frank is
I have relatives.
badass.
I have relatives named Rossetti. So
Yeah, so it's a weird situation. So I was gonna ask you something about this. I forgot what it was. Oh no. Frank was talking about being a good person or doing good deeds. And I'm gonna tell about Frank's good deeds, so Frank doesn't have to. So we were eating at a Wendy's in downtown Columbus for lunch today at about 1 o'clock. And we were leaving, and it looked like probably 2 homeless people were sleeping in a booth at the Wendy's. And while they were sleeping, Frank took 2 $10 bills out of his pocket and put them basically underneath each of their hands while they were sleeping. And we walked out.
Well, the one gentleman, he kind of,
Well, yeah, he kind of woke up
Yeah.
after we walked out.
we indicated so they didn't know it was manna.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't recognize it because they just kind of woke up or whatever. But it was funny.
So, by the way, I wanted to have a poll taken later.
Oh yeah, what's the question?
Well, you could do it another day. Or, well, no, the poll would be: do you think Matt with 1 T should become like a pastor?
Oh man, okay.
Because Matt, you are one of the most caring people. I've known you for 5 years. You are one of the most generous people I've ever met. You are one of the... Now, I do want to confess that people with engineering degrees, they're very analytical. And sometimes I'm opposite.
So I didn't put the question out there, but the poll is: should Matt become a pastor? And there's 2 votes so far, and they're both yes.
And then we had talked about starting a support group Bible study. It could be based on grief or PTSD, or not so much like a Celebrate Recovery Alcoholics Anonymous where you stand up and say whatever. But there's so many needs in the world. And
I'm trying to see if a poll would show
I'm just
up.
trying to help Matt in his calling.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh,
It's just buffering.
buffering.
Okay, so there is a poll.
Did you make the poll?
Yeah, but I didn't type in the question. I just figured they could.
Verbal poll.
Yeah, verbal poll, and they could type yes or no. Hopefully me streaming out and receiving chats in is not causing a problem with the,
And also, if there's someone with large amounts of money that would want to make a movie, maybe Shane Croston, maybe he would sell the rights to his book and they could make a movie. You know, if you don't ask,
I don't know.
you won't receive.
I'd go to church if Matt was the pastor, idiom says. I'm voting Frank, governor of Ohio.
Governor of Ohio, come here, where'd you get out of there?
I'm trying to blow this back up.
We're gonna put the Big Potato Games trademark down here. Orangey, by the way, is, I guess you would consider it the feral type cat. And I fed Orangey for many, probably weeks, and eventually got Orangey fixed. But then Orangey disappeared. And that's the problem with outdoor cats. You just don't know what happens to them. So we haven't seen Orangey in like 6 months. Hey, you know what? They do have an opening for governor.
They do. People are running for governor. Vivek Ramaswamy's running for governor.
You know,
He
what
left
about
Doge.
Mr. Frank? Would you be my lieutenant governor?
Yeah,
Because I'm not real good at like certain things.
yeah, that would be.
Mhm. We could go to the Ohio State Fair together on opening day.
Okay, Libby's saying it has no issues with the buffering for them. That's good. The morning videos are relatable and authentic, says Idiot. Pro now, he needs to move to Kentucky to replace our governor. Frank, you need to go to Kentucky. Watching the morning lives if I'm not there. You can't leave the car washes behind, is what they're saying, Frank.
No, the self-serve car washes is what allows me to have flexible hours. And basically, if I want to sleep in, I can, but then sometimes you're working till 9, 10 o'clock at night. But I do enjoy and recommend owning a self-serve car wash.
There aren't very many though. Why aren't there very many though?
Well, the new style car washes have the conveyor,
Yeah,
and
why
there's
wouldn't you get one of
employees,
those?
and they have the free vacuums, and they gross a extremely larger amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be there every day and to manage employees, and I'd rather just have my little small car wash.
And not have to be there.
And we allow dump trucks in the front of a semi called a bobtail. We have a lot of mud in our car wash.
Yeah, you do. So Frank has 2 truck bays where a semi cab can pull in and wash off, and it can get really muddy because all kind of trucks come in there and clean out the inside of their truck with sludge and nasty. Well, so you guys know how they caught the real thieves? They caught the real thieves by pinpointing just a few suspects and then somehow selling them special stamps or stamping their letters in a special way. So that
the stamps were marked.
They were marked so that they knew how this mail was flowing and who it was coming from, right? And that's how they caught everybody. So that's how Frank's gonna win this game. Because he knows they were coming from somewhere in Ohio, but they were sending them out of state so that they wouldn't be traceable to their original postmark, and then they would come into Columbus.
There was a whole group of these society members, and they had a code of ethics. It's in the book,
But that's why they kept telling us.
Here's what's really sad, and I don't know if this is true, but
Uh-huh.
there's people in the past that were not good, but then would they go to church on Sundays?
Probably.
I don't understand it.
Me neither.
The mind is
Deceitful.
it's just
The heart is deceitful.
like the mafia, you know. So it's a little scary.
Paul wrote, "The heart is deceitful. Who would know?" Right? Didn't Paul write that?
I think Cole is a potential car wash owner
Oh, why's that?
because he's a thoughtful person. He's got some good comments. You know what we could also do on the side? I could help teach people about self-serve car washes. They could come to Columbus, Ohio, and look up my name, Frank A. Mascari, and call me. And as long as they don't build a car wash across the street from mine, I will teach them for free.
That's true.
But you have to have money to buy a car
Heart.
wash.
Yeah, Olivia knew it. The heart is deceitfully wicked.
Yes.
Who would know it? I remember that's the quote from Paul when he wrote
Yes.
that. So yeah, so Frank was gonna eventually figure it out because we read a clue twice in there that it takes 1 to 2 days for mail to be delivered somewhere inside Ohio, but out of state and back in state, it's 3 to 5 days if it goes out of state. So that means it's 1 to 2 days, but it's actually 3 to 5 because it was leaving, and then 3 to 5 coming back. So it was 6 to 10 days for the mail to get to the person that they were extorting from, because they sent it out of state and then they sent it back in state. So that was a key piece of evidence that you read. You know what I mean?
And it hides the postmark from where the actual criminal is. One of their criminal members is in another city that would send it. But the postal inspector, Frank Oldfield, he was a very smart man.
Yeah, whoever figured it out.
And
Because you have no
and
witnesses.
the police detective, they call it the Italian Squad in New York City. These police officers apparently were all Italian, and that helped. Because I think a lot of people were afraid to talk to the police, and
Oh, yeah.
so.
Okay, what's this? Can we do a car wash where the vacuums suck hard enough, no matter how many people are using them?
So the answer to that is, on
Yes.
a self-serve car wash, there's like 3 different little motors and these 4 bags, and if you clean the bags of the vacuum every week, I guarantee they will always be powerful.
Olivia. Frank looks like an experienced in life Mario because of his clothes.
I don't get it.
You look like Mario from Super Mario
Oh, Mario,
Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luigi or Mario?
Yeah.
Mario.
Because or Luigi because of your clothes.
What about Steve Martin? I don't know.
Steve Martin? No, I don't know. Ivan Viana. Hola, Brazil. Okay, what time is it? What time is it, Brian?
9:47.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Where's Annie?
Oh, she's probably sleeping. Let's see. She's gotta be. It's way past her bedtime. Yeah, she's waiting for me to come to bed.
You gotta let Annie out, I assume.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well,
All right. Well, be praying. The Lord's gonna take care of us.
yep.
Okay.
And we'll, Frank and I'll probably try to play this game for real, like the board game. And then if it goes well and it's kind of interesting, then we'll finish the game here on a live another time.
I did not know this involved the internet, so
No,
I'm
me either.
gonna go and see what it's about. And then there's 2 more games. I don't think we're gonna play those, but
No, we're going to play this game. Well, unless it's a big smash. All right, well, thanks, guys. Make sure.
there's the author.
Oh, thanks, Shane. Hey, Shane.
Hey Shane,
Shane, the author.
I
of the
haven't
book.
met
Thanks.
you in person yet, and you served our country in the military, and I wanted to thank you.
Oh, you did?
And Shane, I want you to do an Audible book. I know I've already told you that. I'm bugging you again if you haven't, because I love the Audible version of books.
I know. Yeah.
And
This should be an audible, but the problem is there's a lot of cool evidence and pictures here too.
well, you know what? That's right. Audible doesn't show the pictures very well. Oh, I forgot about that.
But you could probably describe them. You should do an audible book. That'd be kind of fun. And Frank and I could be the other voices. Like you can be the main narrator, Shane.
Well, my one cousin named Frank, he said he would, because you probably need to know how to speak Italian dialect and stuff.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and really appreciate it. I'll be on again in the morning, and then maybe Frank will be back with me, and we'll finish this game and have another bowl of chili. Did you finish your chili?
No.
Frank's on a second big bowl of chili. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks everybody. Thanks, Frank.
all right. Frank has a cousin named Frank. Of course.
Larry and his other brother Larry. Good night, everybody. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna count like
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.